After an abbreviated first week of the legislative session, lawmakers put in a full week this week. And here to talk about it is Mike McNutt, Chief Capital Correspondent of the Oklahoman. I'm Owen Canfield with the opinion page. Mike, thanks for being here as always.
You bet. Glad to be here.
Short week last week with the snow. This week, beautiful weather and long days, I know, for you and for the lawmakers. A couple items we wanted to talk about today. One, immigration-related measures. A couple came out of the Senate this week. One that would allow police to seize property if they think if someone is illegal, that they've stopped. And the other one is basically opting out of the 14th Amendment, if you will, basically saying the 14th Amendment, which bestows citizenship to any baby born here, Oklahoma wouldn't follow that. I know you work in the House most of the time. These are Senate bills, but clearly this is an issue that will not go away and doesn't intend to go away for a while.
Right. It's an issue that it's an emotional issue. There were quite a few people who are concerned about immigration at the Capitol that day of the Senate hearings, and as you mentioned, what they call the so-called anchor babies. A lot of angst about that, and It's been around for several years in Oklahoma, and they talked about trying to do this late at the end of last session, if you recall. There's not enough time, and they said, well, hey, we'll be back and we're going to try and do this, and sure enough, there's the bill. Right. And we'll see what happens. It's got to go through the full Senate, then comes over to the House, and then we'll see what the governor wants to do with it.
Long way to go. I would hope that cooler heads would prevail and we'd move on to some more important issues. Speaking of important issues, money is a big one. Good news this week regarding the budget in that the estimates now of how much revenue the state will have grew by about $100 million compared to the earlier estimates. What will that mean down the road, do you think?
Well, what it means is going into the fiscal year 2012, which starts July 1st, best estimates are the state was looking at about a $600 million budget hole. The Tax Commission has recertified its estimates of how much revenue they expect the state will bring in through its different taxes for the 2012 fiscal year. And it's about, altogether, the raw figure is about $143 million more than they thought in December.
So that would make the whole more in the $500 million range than the $600 million.
Some of all that money goes to the number of categories. State government's budget is long and complicated, but at least about $100 million should go in the general fund, the principal spending fund for state government.
Right.
And what that means is the whole should be $500 million. Although, I talked to the governor and legislative leaders, and they're saying, hey, we're cautiously optimistic. Looks like the recovery is underway. In Oklahoma, it's going to be a slow recovery, though, not like in 2004 when we saw natural gas prices go high, which really projected things.
Turn things around quickly.
Accelerated quickly. Natural gas prices are low, relatively speaking, aren't expected to rise anytime in the next few months because of the supply. So it's a good thing that sales tax is doing well. Personal income tax was higher than they thought, and motor vehicle taxes, which is a sign that people, big purchases like cars, trucks, people in times of either out of work, certainly, or apprehensive about their future, aren't going to buy a new truck or a used truck. Now that they apparently feel a little more confident about their own jobs or the state's economy, the past couple of months we've seen people buying vehicles.
Right. Well, that's good news for the state. Mike, I appreciate your time. Short week in terms of a lot of real action going on. There'll be more to talk about in the weeks ahead. We appreciate your time. We ask you to continue to read about Mike's stuff every day in the paper and to check it here on News OK.